Hi, everyone. I'm Amuri Amin, and welcome back to The Inner Eyes. We are going to move forward through episode 8. Not everything that feels good is helping you move forward. But before we go further, this episode is going to feel and look a little different. While we are still walking through the journey, but this time we're going to see it from more than one angle. As we have done it in the past, it has been a subtle change, but in this one, it will be more distinct between the book, the original film, and The Wiz. The three versions of the same path, three different ways the story is told. But here's what matters: no matter how different the journey looks, the lesson is still the same. Because the path may change in how it appears, but what it reveals does not. So, as we move through this part of the journey, you're not just watching the story unfold, you're seeing the same truth and how it can show up in different forms. And how no matter which version you are living, the lesson is still yours. And as Dorothy and her companions continue moving, they continue walking, there comes a point in the journey where continuing forward no longer feels exciting, it feels uncertain because the path is gone. It's not gone physically, but it's gone from their physical eye. But because you can no longer rely on what was once made clear, this is where the journey changes from inspiration to transformation. Dorothy and her companions keep walking, they don't turn back, and that's where the path leads them into testing. In the book, they continue through the forest, but the stillness breaks. They are not met with silence, but with force. The Kalidahs, these fierce predators that are known to have the body of a bear and the head of a tiger, and also claws that tear away with all within their grasp. They're known to roam the forest in search of their next prey. They don't hesitate, they attack. And in that moment, the journey shifts from movement to survival. As they run, they come to a sudden stop, a ravine, deep, wide, no clear way to cross. And now the pressure changes because it's not just about what's chasing them, it's about what's in front of them. The lion steps forward. He fights, not without fear, not perfectly, but he stands. And then he sees it. There are two. They're waiting above them in the trees. The threat is greater than what he first believed. I promise I wasn't trying to rhyme. And this is where something shifts. The Tin Man moves without hesitation. He cuts down a tree and it falls. It stretches across the ravine, creating a bridge. One by one, they move across, carefully, urgently, not knowing if they're making it, but moving anyway. And the Kalidas, they don't stop, they don't wander, they don't wonder, they don't pause, they follow. And because fear does not stop, just because you found a way forward, and just because you're wondering, will you reach the other side, fear continues to chase you. But once they reach the other side, the Tin Man cuts the tree again, and the bridge collapses, making the Kalidas fall deep within the ravine. And they're never to be seen again in this story. And this is important because sometimes the way forward requires a decision that removes the option of going back. The bridge that saved you is not always meant to stay. In the Wiz, they continue. Their path shifts again. It leads them down into a subway station. And at first, there's energy. They're excited. New companions have joined them. They've been able to ease on down the road. Hope is building. The idea of reaching the Wiz feels closer than ever. And then they hear it, an echo. Doo-doo-doo-doo, doo-doo-doo-doo. Something moves through the space around them, unseen, until it reveals itself. It's the peddler, the one who has been present but not fully seen, watching, following, a spy for the Witch of the West. Not everything that walks alongside of you is there for your good. Some things observe, waiting for the right moment to act. Hanging from his tray are two small paper figures. Innocent, right? Harmless. But as they watch, the figures begin to grow, stretching, expanding, becoming something else entirely. They come to life, large, threatening, and suddenly they're being chased. This is how illusion works. It starts small, insignificant, until it isn't. The lion runs, instinct. He moves up the stairs onto another level. In my head, if you know, I'm thinking of music and I'm like, I'm on a new level. And that's where he was. But behind him, the gates close and the others are trapped. And now he hears them. Their voices, their fear, lion, lion, calling out to him. And in that moment, he has a choice to stay safe or to return. Because courage is not shown in how you run, it's revealed in what you return to. He goes back. He opens the gate. The chaos breaks loose. They scatter, each one running in different directions. The scarecrow runs to a set of stairs, and there's a sign. You are here, with the arrow pointing down at his location. And he stops. He looks at it, trying to understand it. Instead of moving forward, this is the mind under pressure, trying to figure things out instead of acting. Two trash cans begin to animate. Teeth are shown, and they grab him, holding him in place. The lion hears him without hesitation. He runs in, rips the trash cans apart, and frees him. The Tin Man, though, is hiding behind a pillar, scanning, looking side to side, trying to anticipate the danger. But it's already there above him. It's in the form of a fuse box where two wires from opposite ends come alive and attach to his jaw. Then the electricity surges. And this is what happens when the system overloads. Too much input, too much pressure. The body locks. The lion hears him, finds him, rips the fuse away from the wall, and frees him. Then you see Toto. He's running, he's being chased. No plan, just movement. Instinct doesn't wait, it responds. Next, we see Dorothy. She runs. She's trying to find a way out. And then the space itself begins to move. The pillars crack, breaking from their foundation and being closed in. This is what the environment feels like when it's working against you. Everything that you thought was stable is no longer holding. And then he's there. The lion comes. He pushes the pillars back, creating a space which gives her a way through. The one who feared the most became the one who protected the most. They regroup, they find each other again, and they run up the stairs, out of the subway, back into the open air, breathing, alive, together. This wasn't just chaos, it was a test of the mind, a test of the body, a test of instinct and of choice. Because when everything around you breaks, what's within you is revealed. And in that moment, the lion didn't become fearless, he became present and he changed everything. And this is where something becomes most clear. The one who feared the most becomes the one who protected the most. I'm not going to lie to you, that scene growing up scared and shocked my entire system. That sound has plagued the minds of many. But this scene had the most lessons that were present for life. That scene showed you who you are in the time of fear, in the time of chaos, in the time where you thought everything would come to an end. That scene has taught you that it is only the beginning of your journey into courage, of your journey into awareness, of your journey into walking in, regardless of what may face you. You have the power to overcome. But before we go into the next scene, it is important to recognize something that across all three versions, the book, The Wizard of Oz, and The Wiz, the poppies are the same. They may look different, they may be experienced differently, but their nature does not change. They are attractive to the eye, they're soothing to the senses, and dangerous when you stay too long. In reality, poppies are a beautiful, fragrant flower that can also present danger to those. It can become a drug that can dull the senses, that can numb the mind, that can lead you into a life that makes you a ghost of yourself. The poppies are significant into your journey through life, through faith, through elevation. And this matters because it's not just about a scene, it's about a pattern. The journey will bring you into places that feel beautiful, that feel comforting, that even feel deserved. But not everything that feels good is meant to keep you moving forward. And while the experience may vary, the lesson does not. Each person can encounter a trap differently. Each may find their way out in their own way, but the meaning that serves the whole, that serves the entirety. Because this is the part of the journey that's not just Dorothy, it's yours. In The Wizard of Oz, they enter a field, endless, filled with red flowers, soft, beautiful, and almost peaceful. And at first, nothing seems wrong. There's no threat, there's no urgency, there's no reason to resist. And slowly, the body begins to respond. Breathing softens, movement slows, awareness fades, and one by one, they begin to fall. Dorothy, the lion, Toto, unable to continue. And in The Wiz, it comes differently. It's not just a field, but an invitation. Beautiful women, welcoming, gentle, drawing them in, leaving them forward. And what begins as a movement becomes surrender. They pass through. They begin to slide into rest, into stillness, into sleep. And this is not fear, this is comfort. And comfort can be just as peaceful. But because it doesn't push you away from your path, it pulls you off of it. It has a soft power that dulls your senses, relaxes your mind, and makes you fall asleep. It pulls you off of your path, and but in both versions, two remain: the scarecrow, the tin man, the mind. And the body that is without emotion, it remains aware. Those who feel deeply are the ones most affected. And this is not random, this is a trap. Because if fear cannot stop you, comfort will. Not everything that looks peaceful is meant to keep you progressing. So if you've ever found yourself slowing down, losing focus, drifting after making progress, you've been here. Not attacked, but lulled. Because the most dangerous place on the journey is not where you struggle, it's where you forget. It's where you forget why you were moving at all. And after the fall, there is a silence, not movement, not direction, just stillness. Because when you are pulled off your path, there is often a moment where everything stops. This is what it feels like when you've lost momentum, when you've gone from movement into stillness without understanding how. In the book, Dorothy is asleep, the lion is asleep, and the scarecrow and the tin man remain awake. They are able to carry Dorothy and Toto out of the field because they are so light. But the lion's too heavy even for both to carry at the same time. He's too much to move. And for a moment, they are faced with the reality. They may have to leave him behind. And this is the part of the journey where not everything can move all at the same time. Some parts of you are ready, and some parts are not. And then something small appears, a mouse being chased by a wild cat in danger. And without hesitation, the tin man moves. He cuts off the head of the wild cat, saving the mouse. And this matters because even in the middle of your own struggle, you can act, you can respond, you can do something that is aligned. I am so sorry. I'm about to choke. Woo! So sorry. And that small act changes everything because the mouse is not just a mouse, she is a queen. And in gratitude, she calls for the others. The mice gather, many of them working together to move what one thought they could not. And they carry the lion out of the field back into the open air. Because in the book it is said, once you leave the field and breathe the fresh air, you are saved. This is the return of life, the breath, the awareness, the presence. Sometimes you don't have to pull yourself out alone. Sometimes you are carried. And this is important to focus on. Those who you assist in your time of need, even when you are facing devastation, may be the ones who have the collective power to pull you out. The 10 men thought he saved a mouse, but he rescued an entire queendom. Her resources were used to keep the companions moving forward on their journey together. And in The Wiz, the awakening comes differently. The Scarecrow and the 10 men call out. I'm sorry, in The Wizard of Oz. I was ready to jump to The Wiz. Scarecrow and the 10 men call out, not knowing who hears them, but something in them still reaches. And Glinda sees. She sends snow, soft, cooling, falling gently over them. Not all awakenings are harsh. Some are quiet, a soft return, a gentle and light remembering. And slowly they wake. The lion rises. He says, I feel better after 40 winks. He's refreshed, as if the sleeping restored everything. But it did restore something. And in The Wiz, the awakening comes from within. The 10 man cries, tears fall, and those tears become the water. The one who believed he had no heart is the one whose emotion saves them. His grief over his wife Teeny becomes the thing that pours out and gives life. It empties him of that load that he held inside, which can then become the freeing of the weight for the awakening to come in. Because what you thought was missing may be the ultimate thing that restores you. And when they wake, the lion is not relieved, he is heavy because he remembers he saved them and then led them right into danger. Because growth doesn't always feel like progress, sometimes it feels like failure. And even when it isn't, I almost said sometimes growth feels like fire. And that is important because that thing, that time when you doubt yourself so much, it cannot feel like the fire that causes you to move, that causes action. It can feel like the fire that consumes you. And that's where the lion was. It was consuming his thoughts, consuming the courage he had just built up. It was consuming everything inside of him. It wasn't empowering, it was dissolving. But what happens is Dorothy speaks out. She reminds him. She reminds him of who he is and what he's done and what he still carries. She says, you're a lion, strong and tall. You're the greatest of them all. This has gotten me through so many times. If on courage you must call, just keep on trying and trying and trying. Times when I have given up, times when I felt I lost my way, I just keep remembering you're a lion in your own way. Be a lion because you in your journey does not look like everyone else's. You in the fight and the strength that you have inside may not be replicated in other examples because you are the example. And in your own way, you are the ruler. You are the co creator. You are that pillar of strength and resilience that can cause the clouds to part, that can cause the rains to come in and restore, that can call on the thunder to announce who you are. It's in you. And so repeat it because as the lion repeats it, he begins to believe it. And sometimes that belief is not instant, it is practice. It is a mantra that has to be said on a daily basis until it becomes real. And then they see it. The Emerald City, it looks closer than ever over the horizon right in front of them. After fear, after distraction, after being pulled off your path, clarity returns, direction returns, you return. The journey will test you with fear, will tempt you with comfort, and will ask you to wake up again and again. This is the inner eyes, where the journey isn't about staying on the perfect path, it's about finding your way back to it. And I will see you on the next episode of The Yellow Brick Road.